No, no, not at all. So there's a couple of ways to do that. One is, find a mentor, find somebody to help you implement those systems, find a company that has all those tools, like a Propelio, and bring them in to help you put those systems in place, right? And I would just say, you just got to do whatever it takes to make that happen. You got to prioritize, and you got to say, you know what, I'm just not going on another appointment until I get this done. And you got to make it important, and you can hire all that out, right? There's people out there that you can outsource everything to. And if there's something that's bogging you down, there's systems there's cold calling companies out there to do your cold calling for you. There's lead management companies that do your lead management for you. There's marketing companies that do your marketing for you. There's mail houses that'll do your mailing for you. I mean, all of it turnkey. Your CRM systems, there's companies out there that will implement that for you, input all your contacts, get it set up, train you, get you going. More importantly, you can hire somebody and put it on them. So, that's the easiest way to do it would be, just go ahead and hire somebody and make it their job to put those systems in place. You can partner with somebody. You can come alongside somebody else who's kind of feeling your pain. So, you're, 10, 12, 15, somebody else is 10, 12, 15. I know a lot of investors do this. And you can meet them through networking, come together and join forces. Maybe they're really good at something, you're really good at something. So you come together and then put those systems in place there. Me, I've always been individual. I've never had partners in my businesses. I've either owned them or, when I did joint ventures with other people, I was always the owner that controlled the business, kind of like Marcus Lemonis on The Profit. He comes in and he's in charge. That's me. So I've always hired people to implement systems for me, or I brought in outside companies to do it for me. So that's probably the easiest way to do it, would be to hire somebody, help you implement those things, partner with somebody, joint venture with somebody to implement those things, or just start outsourcing whatever it is that you're good at. Do that. Everything else that takes up your time, that's eating up your bandwidth, outsource that, hire that, get rid of it. Well, you probably don't know how to paint. You probably don't know how to wire a house. You probably don't know how to plumb a house, right? So what do? You hire a painter, electrician, plumber. You hire a roofer, right? Even if you do know how, you probably still hire a bookkeeper, right? So there are bookkeepers that you can do part-time, $100 a month. They'll keep your books if you want to have employees that you have to track payroll. The easiest way to do it is have independent contractors. So there's people, again, at every level of the business that support real estate investors that you can just start out with part-time. So that's what I did. My first bookkeeper was part-time, until she went full-time. Every transition I made in my company, I had that decision. It's a fear when you're starting out, man, I don't want to hire people. Actually, I wasn't afraid of hiring people because I was in the business and I know how to recruit, hire, train. I went through leadership training. So I knew how to do that. I wasn't afraid of that. But most people, like you said, aren't. And most people that I talk to and work with aren't. They've been in the corporate world or whatever, and they've never hired anybody. They don't even know how to interview. So there is a whole process and system to doing that. It's interesting. There really is no program. I was talking to somebody the other day that was trying to hire somebody. Says, I've never hired anybody. So I went through the process of how they were looking for an executive chef for a resort. And I said, well, it was a Christian camp. And I'm like, well, here's what you got to do here's how you interview, what to look for when they submit the resume, how you write the ad, So anyways, there's a whole system of how to hire people and all that, but everything can be outsourced. You can start part-time, you can start slow, but I'm going to tell everybody right now, anybody who's listening, I'm going to say, you've got to have faith, right? You got to take a risk. You got to have faith. You've got to believe in yourself, and you got to develop yourself. So first and foremost, develop yourself. There's books out there. One of the greatest books on management, hiring, training people, The 1 Minute Manager. There's 3 books in that series. The 1 Minute Manager is the first. Putting the 1 Minute Manager to work is the second book. Leadership in the 1 Minute Manager is the third book. Every business I've ever had, every employee I've ever had, I had go through all 3 of those books, and I coach them and train them on how to be managers and leaders, right? Because in a business, there's managers, the people that do and get things done. Then there's the leaders who inspire those to do and get things done, who serve the organization so that they can get things done. So the 1 Minute Manager, putting the 1 Minute Manager to work, leadership 1 Minute Manager. But I'm going to tell every one of you out there, everybody who's ever done anything great has always been afraid to hire their first employee, to lease their first office space, to take the next step in business. Every step in business, your first step is always the worst step. It's always the most difficult, the scariest step. But once you take it, then the rest of it just gets easier every time. It's kind of like railroad tracks, right? If you stand on a set of railroad tracks and you look down and they kind of end, but if you walk to that point and you look, you can see even further. And you walk to that point, you can look, you can see even further. So have faith in yourself, have faith in what you're doing, find like-minded people who are where you want to be, and get somebody to mentor you, coach you, and help you through it. You can do it because somebody else has done it. And I'm telling you, I'm not unique. I didn't even go to college. Anybody can do what I've done if they put the time into educating themselves and learning how to be a leader, learning how to manage people, learning how to hire people, and then you do it. You learn by doing.